This is the brand new DJI Avata 360, and in this video I'm going to be putting it head to head against the Avata 2 and the Mini 5 Pro, and I'm going to be testing every aspect of this drone, all to find out if this is the right drone for you. For quite a while now with action cameras, we've had the option between a single lens action camera and a 360 action camera. And they obviously both have their specific pros and cons, and those pros and cons apply directly to drones as well. I'm going to start by doing a revolving shot of the mountain, and I think this is where the Avata 360 could be quite cool because it's basically got an auto tracking mode where you can set it to track a subject in the camera, but you can fly it in any direction that you would like. Of course, the Mini 5 Pro can shoot natively in vertical, which is great, but the issue with that is you always have to choose that before shooting. The beauty with 360 is you can reframe however you like afterwards. So you can reframe to square, vertical, horizontal, whatever you like, which is definitely a big bonus. Of course, both drones can take photos, but the benefit with the Avata 360 is it's going to take the entire scene at once. You can do a 360 photo with the Mini 5 Pro, but it's going to take a really long time because it needs to take every shot in a sequence.
The spherical photo quality of the two drones is very similar, but I would definitely still give the edge to the Mini 5 Pro for photos, just because you can still take normal traditional framing of photos as well as high quality 360 photos.
Now the classic move forward and tilt up shot is a really interesting one to do on the Avata 360 because it's literally all in post and you can't mess it up. Whereas with the Mini 5 Pro, you have to tilt the camera manually, which is fine, but it means you rarely have to nail it in flight. Otherwise, you have to redo the shot.
I'm actually a big fan of this because it means you can rather focus on flying instead of framing the shot perfectly every time. What you would have noticed by now is that the Mini 5 Pro definitely has superior image quality across the board. And that's just the classic trade-off of 360 video. It's never going to be as high quality, and it's just something you need to decide for yourself. Do you want optimal quality or maximum flexibility in editing and post-production?
It is really cool being able to fly with such a massive field of view. But I think to make it more realistic, I'm going to switch to 104 degrees. Because that's about the same as what you get with the Mini 5 Pro field of view. Actually, that's even wider than the Mini 5 Pro. I'm doing that same shot I did with the Mini 5 Pro where I just flew sideways looking at the building. But the cool thing with the Avata 360 is I'm going to be able to take the shot on here and potentially get 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 different shots from one single flight and one single take.
These are 6 extra shots that I created using keyframes in DJI Studio, and to be honest, it is really easy to do and it does open up a lot of creative opportunities. And it is really nice to know, even if you mess up your framing while flying, you can always fix that in post, because I have had multiple times where I haven't gotten it quite right while flying and I only found out once I was editing my footage. Those of you who watch my channel will know I am very quick to point out when something is a gimmick, and to be honest, this is not one. This is genuinely a very helpful feature of this drone.
It's time to test out my favorite way of flying a drone, which is in FPV mode with goggles. So I've got the two drones here and I'm gonna fly these with the Goggles 3, which are my favorite way to fly, and also with the FPV Controller 3. Unfortunately, my single biggest disappointment with this drone is that there's no full manual flying. Which, I mean, a lot of reviewers are gonna say you don't need to fly full manual to get good 360 drone shots, which is probably true, but at the end of the day, it is closing off an option, which is firstly a lot of fun, and secondly does allow for really dynamic and fast shots that you just can't get while flying in sport mode. So I really hope that DJI does add it in a future firmware update, but apparently the motors aren't powerful enough for it, so we'll have to wait and see. I tried to fly the drone in FPV mode with the goggles on, in 360 mode, and I got disorientated and flew the drone straight into a tree, which is obviously not what you want, and I got a little scratch on the lens there. It's not too bad. So I'm actually just swapping out the lens here, which is actually a very easy task. You just take off the old one with the little suction cup, and after you unscrew the holder, and then you basically just put the new lens in and screw it down and recalibrate and you're ready to go. So at least that is not a difficult process.
After a bit of practice, I did get comfortable flying the Avata 360 with the FPV controller in 360 stabilized mode, and I think I actually did get some pretty cool shots. They're not as fast and dynamic as I would like, but I think they are definitely usable. I wanted to note that shooting in 8K at 25 or 30 FPS definitely results in a better image than 8K at 50 or 60 FPS. You can of course get some really unique and creative angles by reframing the 360 shot afterwards. I wouldn't recommend flying in single lens mode with the release date firmware just because it stabilizes in the pitch axis but not with the roll axis, so it's just a very disorientating way to fly. Next I took up the Avata 2 and flew it in full manual mode, and this is where you'll see what I mean by fast and dynamic shots that you just can't get in something like sport mode, where you can do dives, you can change altitude quickly, you can do rolls, and it really results in a super unique style of footage which you can only get with full manual FPV. I understand a lot of people won't like this type of flying, so it's honestly just personal preference. In terms of video quality, the Avata 2 definitely is better, but to be honest, the Avata 360 isn't that far off, especially in these bright lighting conditions. I then switched to the Motion Controller 3, and to be honest, I think this is the best way to fly the Avata 360. It just gives you a pretty natural feel, and it's a really intuitive way to fly. I'm pretty happy with these shots that I got with it. I think it's a lot more dynamic, and they're actually pretty close to full manual FPV. Something very interesting about the Avata 360 is you can actually change your field of view in the goggles, and you can go ridiculously wide, which I would not recommend, but it is great to have this option to adjust your field of view to exactly how you like it. Something else that's really interesting is you can turn on head tracking with the goggles, so the camera view will essentially follow wherever you're pointing, and then in the top left of the screen you'll still get a vision assist which shows you the forward direction of the drone, so you can stop it from crashing. I don't think this is the best option to get smooth cinematic footage, but it is quite fun and works surprisingly well. The Avata 2 does also have head tracking, but to be honest it's pretty terrible because the entire drone has to turn to point the camera, so it's just not a very good implementation, especially compared to the Avata 360. One of the ways the Avata 360 gets around not having full manual are the easy acro modes. These are essentially in-camera moves that the drone will perform when you flick the joystick of the motion controller. The Avata 2 also has easy acro modes, but of course those are actually done with the drone physically spinning and flipping around, whereas with the Avata 360 it's all done in camera. They are quite cool, but honestly after a few times it gets a bit boring, and I think the whole reason doing a flip with the drone is fun is because you're making the drone flip itself, not just because you're flicking a switch. So for me it's not the best, but some people will enjoy these. Funnily enough, I did crash the Avata 360 again by flying it straight into a fence, but it was completely fine and actually took off right away from where it crashed, and I flew it home, cleaned up the lenses, and it was all good to go. The tracking features on the Mini 5 Pro are excellent. The first one is Spotlight, which lets you draw a little box around your subject, and then you can fly the drone wherever you want, and the drone will automatically keep your subject in the frame. Active Track steps it up a notch by letting you use the little map on the bottom left of your screen to draw predefined moves for the drone to follow. There's even an auto mode where the drone will choose movements for you and just get a bunch of cool shots of your subject. Of course, the Avata 360 also has Active Track where you can choose your specific paths that you want the drone to follow, or you can let the drone choose its own paths in the auto mode. I would say both drones do this equally as well, but the Avata 360 can do it at much higher speeds, which is a big bonus. The Avata 360 has a standard spotlight mode, which works just like the Mini 5 Pro, where you can fly around and the drone will keep the subject in the middle of the frame. Where the Avata 360 really stands out is with its brand new free spotlight mode, which is something that was only previously available on the Inspire 3. This is very cool and a lot of fun. It essentially lets you fly like you've got a dual operated drone. So in the main screen here, you'll see I've got a straight line view of what the drone is seeing in front of it. and then in the bottom left there is exactly what the camera view is recording. This lets you focus only on flying while getting really cool dynamic tracking shots of your subject. Here you can see it working brilliantly when I fly the drone over the top of the car at high speed and it keeps the car perfectly in frame. This is definitely one of my favorite new features from the Avata 360. Of course, I ran a battery life comparison for these three drones, and I essentially just hovered them in the air until the battery was critical and the drones force landed themselves. The Avata 2 was the first drone to finish, landing at around 18 minutes. Next up was the Avata 360, landing at around 19 minutes. I accidentally started the Mini 5 Pro on 94%, so I've taken that into account, and it lasted about 26 minutes and 30 seconds on the normal battery and 41 minutes and 18 seconds estimated for the Plus battery. In terms of cameras, the Mini 5 Pro has the largest sensor coming in at 1 inch, and the Avata 360 is 1/1.1 inch, and the Avata 2 is 1/1.3 inch. However, the Avata 360 of course has two lenses and sensors, which it flips up after takeoff to capture a 360 spherical image. In terms of noisiness, the Mini 5 Pro easily wins, and the Avata 360 is actually the loudest and most high pitch of the three drones. The Avata 360 has omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, including a LiDAR sensor on the front of the drone, and it works really well in the forward direction, but I actually had a couple times where, with obstacle sensing turned on, it still crashed into me when flying backwards. Apparently obstacle avoidance does struggle with moving objects, and also when I did the test without the sun behind me, it seemed to work perfectly fine. After turning obstacle avoidance off, I flew the drone straight into me and showed that you are definitely not going to get hurt by this drone flying into you. The Avata 360 is a slightly bigger footprint than the Avata 2, however it is a bit thinner, and that's to accommodate the 360 lenses in the drone. It is also just slightly heavier than the Avata 2. When unfolded, the Mini 5 Pro has a very similar footprint. In terms of weight, the Avata 360 is definitely a heavier drone overall. When folded up, the Mini 5 Pro is substantially smaller, so if you're going to travel with your drones a lot, that's definitely something to take into account.
What I'm going to do now is fly all three of these drones on this beach, and I'm basically going to try and get the best shots I can possibly get. And I'm going to be very curious to hear in the comments down below which of these three drones is your favorite.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe, and also to check out the latest pricing for these three drones. You'll find the links in the description below, and I think the Avata 360 price will be pleasantly surprising.